This is the stock market pre-market prep. I trade the S&P futures market. This is my technical analysis pre-market prep video where I let you see areas of interest for long and short trades. I also provide levels I will be looking at during the day for scalp trades, which are the blue lines on my charts. Subscribe and hit the notification to get alerted for the chart review video at the end of the day to see the results. Okay, good morning. Here's the pre-market prep for 5/15/2019. Looking at the weekly chart. So, as in previous videos, kind of hit our downside target here, starting the bounce, looking for it to come back up into this high volume node here, and then maybe go back down. This is a large time frame, so it takes time for this to work over time. I wouldn't really think that we would maybe get the candle all the way back up here in 1 week. I would think that we're going to chop around in this area and then build another candle that kind of goes up and touches this and then maybe fails. Never know. Just kind of looking at patterns. Definitely an uptrend still, right? The China trade war doesn't really seem to be affecting the market much. This isn't a big sell-off by any means. We're down into this volume node, we're bouncing, we're just kind of hitting some of these other nodes as we go back up. If we get up above like 28.48 or whatever, there's not a ton of volume up here, and so we could really go at that point and get up to at least the 28.79 area pretty easily, I would say. You never know. I mean, you could get weakness and definitely go down here and test into this other big node that we've got down here, and yeah, it encompasses all this. So this could just be a bounce off of this particular node. It fails, and then we trade lower down into this next volume node right here. So on the daily, here's our range. We get the range from the ATR. The ATR is pretty much 40 at this point. Volume for yesterday was, not as high as the previous days. Still got a really good bounce. Shows that there's less pressure to the downside at this point. We basically bounced up into this low volume node right here yesterday, basically testing the top of this volume node. It fell away, fell into this higher volume node down here. Oh, sorry. Tested down here into this volume node right here, and right now it's tested the bottom of it and it's bouncing. Where we kind of go, I think we're going to go up higher. There's this cluster right here that I'm kind of eyeballing, which is the top of the range, and you just never know who's going to show up when the bell rings. But right now, I think we could go down and definitely test this and get another bounce if this bounce doesn't take off and go. So on the 240, it's a little bit thinner up at the top of the range, but this is a good kind of volume node up here. You can see this is a pretty mature little node right here. And I've got those marked off right there. It starts to get a little bit thin right through here. Again, a little bit thin right here. We got this bounce that's going right now, but like I said, you got this big volume node right up above. I've kind of drawn it at the spike, but it may not even get there. It looks like it's kind of bouncing off right here at the LVN, which is the low volume node. You've got a pretty good sizable volume node here. You got a volume node here and a volume node here. So that makes that stair-step pattern down during the day. If you have weakness where you continually get bounce and fails, bounce fail, bounce fail, and it kind of works its way down to the very bottom of the range. So just kind of keep that in mind. But the way the volume was yesterday, not really looking for huge selling today. Never know. It's unpredictable. Here's that big volume node. This is on a 60-minute chart right up above, so it could hit this area and basically go back down. We've tested, again, same thing. Tested this node, got this node, and then it starts to get pretty thin down in this area, so it could go pretty fast to get to the bottom. If it gets past 2821, you can get kind of some acceleration to the bottom. Right now, I kind of have a downside target right here, which matches up with that node, and kind of expecting so this would be a range right here. It did 100% down to here, and then since we're under this level, 100% would be down to this node here. So that's why I'm kind of expecting it to go down and test this node, just to fulfill the 100% range extension of the move, of the swing. And then this level right here matches up perfectly with the bottom of this bigger node, and that would be another 100% range extension if it went down to there. And then of course all the way to the bottom is the last 100% range extension, and then it can keep on going. But there's so many levels in here now, and you're going to see that with the blue lines that I've drawn. If you're looking for the best trades, stick to the biggest volume nodes. So draw a volume profile on your chart, and the best node right here is going to be the top, and it's going to be the very bottom of this entire range. The levels in between here are going to be minor, probably, because you get a ping pong effect, right? Because you have a volume node here and a volume node here. If it tests the top of this node, it's going to ping pong into the bottom of this node, and then maybe fail, and then hit the other side, which is the top of this node, and then the bottom of this node, and you get that ping pong, right? It's, this effect, boom, 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 boom. That's why when I draw the lines, a lot of times you'll see that it'll bounce between the lines, because it's basically bouncing between the nodes. Like I said, there's so many lines now. We've got all these levels all the way through here. You want the best ones, stick to the stuff around the bigger nodes and avoid the chop of the inside the nodes. That's a tip if you want to take less trades and not really necessarily scalp, but try and get a couple points out of a move or something like that. Look for the moves off the edges of the bigger nodes. You got a big volume node up here, not a whole lot here. This is all pre-market trading. You can see that we're making the move up into this area right here. Look at the buyers on the level 2. They're going to hold this market up. Plunge protection team is in effect in the morning, so their goal right now is basically break even, which is back to this line right here. But it's 2.5 hours to open. They've got time to get it to here. In all reality, they do what I call the bum rush. They just overwhelm and take out a level, like this big guy right here. They'll just bum rush him and blast through him and claim that level when they get frustrated that they can't actually get it through. little volume node building right here. You're at the top of it, so expect it to kind of pull back like it is, find support there and go. The delta is fairly negative right at this point. It's pretty close to flat line, but it's negative, so definitely more selling, which is what you've seen here in the after hours. Let's take a look at the higher time frame. So you can easily see the bigger nodes on the higher time frame. So you got a big node here, and we're basically right underneath a big node right here. And then we're basically testing the top of the kind of like this big node right here, and then you have another node. When you look at the big picture though, and you kind of draw a square or something, this is kind of like the top of your node, and really we're kind of testing. It could be a little bit farther down, I would say right here, but you're kind of testing this big area right here. I think prediction here, the future, I think you do find the support here, down here on this node, and it goes to the upside. I keep on thinking to the upside. There's no guarantees, but I think you find the support. There's so much trading that's happened down here, and then you got this big move. I think you get another leg. This is probably like a 2-legged pullback. That would be about right, I would say. So if we took a line and just kind of draw that swing, and I know it's hard to see, you've kind of fulfilled a symmetric 2-leg pullback right at this point, which would, if you're that kind of trader that follows that kind of stuff, that leads to a bounce, and that happens frequently enough that people use it. Let's see here. For the symmetry, it looks like again, I had a little bit farther of a target for the 100% range extension, and we haven't quite reached there, and that's why I was kind of thinking that we'd go down a little bit farther. But this is, there's not a lot of bars on the chart for the pre-market, so very low trading overnight. It is making moves, but not a lot of bar to draw this information to try and find what the symmetry of the market's really going to look like at this point. So I'll probably adjust these as we get a little bit more information. I think some of this came from yesterday is how I drew it, but you could also, that also works right there, because you have this swing and then you have this bounce back and then you have this swing, but I'm not so sure. You still have about the same area for the range extension, and it hasn't hit there for the 100% move right there. But keep that in mind. Anything else I can tell you for today? We could have a lot of chop, so like I said, there's a lot of levels in here, and so be careful. Make sure you take your profits, and good luck trading.